All right, Pedro here from A&P-REACTS. We're live with Ken from Follow The Cipher. How are you today?
I'm just fine, thank you. And
Thanks
you
for being here. Thanks for being here. I'm doing good. I really want to thank you taking the time to sit. I'm sure you're a busy man with an album coming out just a couple of weeks away. You're a busy man, so I want to say thank you for taking the time to sit down with me today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So let's get right into it. All right, so Follow The Cipher, brand new album, debut album, Follow The Cipher, comes out May 11 on Nuclear Blast. How excited are you?
It's hard to describe. It's like a dream come true because we come from we haven't done anything before this, so we went from 0 to 100 in 1 second in some kind of way. So it's kind of unbelievable. So I'm nervous. I can tell you, I'm nervous.
How did the relationship with Nuclear Blast came about? Like, how did you guys land on Nuclear Blast versus, let's say, a different record label?
I think that Per from Sabaton spoke about us to Marcus from Nuclear Blast, and Marcus checked us out, and I believe Nuclear Blast had kept an eye on us for like 2 years before the signing, and when we played at Sabaton Open Air in Falun, Sweden, Nuclear Blast Marcus was there watching us play live, so that was the starting point for the Nuclear Blast thing, I think. So we had a great deal of luck, I would say.
So you guys pretty much had this album wrapped up for a while now in terms of the majority of the songs that are on the album. It's not like you signed the deal with the label and then started working on the album. You already had the material beforehand.
Yeah, the first song was written back in 2014 when Linda joined me when she had her auditioning there, and that song was Winterfall, the first one we wrote. So from 2014 up until like 1 month before the deadline, we had the last song ready for the album. So it has been quite a long process to create this, like 4 years or something like that.
What can the fans expect from this album musically and lyrically? Like, what can we as the fans look forward to?
Yeah, we try to deliver some kind of we like the climaxes like in the Hollywood movies, and we want to take the movie scene and put it into our music a little bit, I think. So that was the plan, but and we also write a little bit about a kind of a sci-fi version of a devastated future where the world has been devastated. And it's in some sense it has a connection with the real where we are today, with the environmental crisis and all the wars going on, and so we took that as a story and put the sci-fi touch on it, I think.
Yeah, I think that it's also clear from the cover, from your album cover, that you guys are going with a little bit of a sci-fi look to the album in general, right?
Yeah, that's the purpose. We're not doing any lasers or anything, but we try to. Yeah, but absolutely, we're doing like a Terminator, the movie, for example, is a big inspiration for the cover art and everything like that, and also the theme about our lyrics. So we try, as I said before, we try to put a big deal of the movie scene into our music as well. So.
How when you talk about the lyrics and you talk about the songs in this album, I mean, I have to talk about Carolus Rex because that was the song that really introduced me to your band and into this album. How did that thought process come into play in terms of including that specific song into this album? Because the lyrics of that song does not fit the rest of the vibe of the album and the rest of the idea.
Yeah, I get that, and that was actually quite funny because we planned. We're speaking about doing a cover, and we had a different kinds of ideas of what kind of cover we should do. But actually, Marcus from Nuclear Blast suggested to do. What the hell? Why don't you do Carolus Rex? You have been a part of writing the song, so that would make sense. And we said, yeah, we'll give it a try. And even though it's quite far apart of the theme we are doing, but we are singing about war and battles and everything, so in some kind of way it seemed to fit as well lyric-wise. So, but that was the whole starting point of that, I think.
There is like you're right, and from a war perspective, there is a little bit of a connection. I really like what you guys did with the video as well, because you incorporated scenes that almost look like vintage that would be happening during that time. Was that part of the process when you guys were thinking of putting this video together, that you really wanted to include that?
Yeah, I'm not sure really, because everything was an accident in that kind of sense. It was going to happen very fast because we had a tight deadline and everything like that. So actually, we recorded the song very, very fast, and the music video and everything like that. It just came like together, and the producers of the music videos and directors, they had like free hands to do anything they would like. So that was the result of it. So it was a stressful kind of thing to do, but we are still happy about it, I think.
Yeah, well, it doesn't come across in the video. You guys look super super relaxed. Like you guys in that video to me look like a band that's been doing this for like 15 years, 20 years. Like everybody seems very comfortable, very relaxed, knowing what they're doing.
Cool. Yeah, we haven't done this before, so that's a great compliment, I think. Thank you. Actually, we recorded the Carolus Rex at the same time as we recorded the Valkyria video. We were at the same place, but we did a different kind of shots. So we did Valkyria before Carolus Rex. So maybe that's a thing, that we were a little bit more relaxed during the Carolus Rex recording.
Well, I didn't realize that. We actually pre-recorded that video. We're going to be posting that on Wednesday, that Valkyria video. So I don't want to say too much about it. Let people watch it on Wednesday and see what our thoughts are. I'll just say the thoughts are positive, that's for sure. Because
cool.
the more I listen, I'm really excited about the album. I already marked it on my calendar, May 11th, because the two songs so far that I heard, I absolutely loved both. Especially Carolus Rex for me has a special place because it's obviously a song that I really like. Two questions I have about that song before we move on. First question I have is, were you ever concerned, considering that song is really written from a male perspective, were you concerned that having a female front lead singer, that perhaps that song would create some issues since it's a female singing from a male perspective? Or you guys didn't care? It's a strong enough song that it doesn't really matter who the person singing is, the sex of the person singing is.
I could say that if it weren't for Linda, I have a great deal of trust in her singing, and she has kind of that raspy and that powerful voice. I knew that she would do this song very well. And actually, the first time I heard her sing the song, it felt like she had sang that song for like all her life. It was so fitting for her voice and for her capacity to sing this song. So that was never an issue. It was actually an interesting thing. I was quite. What do you say? I like the fact that to hear that kind of twist of the song, because Joachim has a really, really powerful voice, and Linda also has a really powerful voice in that sense, but they are in kind of two different spectrums in the spectrum of it. So I knew she would deliver a really cool vocal for it.
I absolutely loved it. I honestly thought that it added a different texture to that song. You know what I mean? Like from all the three versions of that song, that version of the song is my second favorite, only behind the Swedish one. And that was my next question of my two-part question is, did you guys thought of doing it in Swedish versus English?
Yeah. After the recording, we quite kind of regretted ourselves because we said, why the hell didn't we do this on Swedish for? But it is what it is, and I think we will be happy to just do the English version for now. We will see later, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And that reminds me of another thing that I mentioned when I did that video, which was, have you guys ever thought of a duet for that song?
Not until I saw your video. That's actually a really cool idea. But Joachim is a very, very he doesn't have a lot of time. He is really busy. But maybe we will put it as an idea to Joachim, and we'll see what he says in the future. That would be really cool.
I think it would be really cool. First of all, two things. I think if you guys ever tour together, I think you have to do it live, honestly. Either when Sabaton is performing, Linda comes out and lends her vocals, or vice versa. The second part is you guys would have a license to print money if you did that duet. I mean, you guys could retire afterwards and just live off the money of that duet for forever.
Well, I will tell the band that you had that idea. We'll see what they say. That would be really cool if we are doing a tour with Sabaton. I believe that will happen, but we will see. I think.
all I'm going to say is this: if it happens, I expect some royalties to come my way.
Yeah, I'll make sure to throw some your way.
Next question I have for you is in terms of the band Follow The Cipher, how it came together. Because I read it on the internet that originally this was your solo project, was your solo idea. And then I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that when Linda came into the picture, you then thought that, okay, let's take this to a different level. And instead of doing a solo project with some cameos of different singers and different people coming in, let's just do this as a band. Is this true? And how was that process behind doing everything? Like, you're the big mastermind behind Follow The Cipher. So how did your evil genius put all of this together?
Yeah, it was a really interesting story for me, at least, because I had this idea to create a solo album because I felt I wanted to do everything my way. I didn't want to have the compromises with any other songwriter and stuff like that. But I needed someone to sing. I really suck at singing. It's I can't take one note. So I needed someone to sing for me, and I went for an auditioning. So it came like 5 or 6 people auditioning for the album, and every single one of these auditioners were really, really good singers. They were super professional, every single one of them. And it took like 3 or 4 hours doing the audition for every single person. But the last person that came in was Linda. And it took like 15 minutes for her to stand by the microphone and do her thing. And I said, we're done. I don't need to try you anymore. If you want to, you got the job. I was so mind blown by her capacity of her singing. And that was really fun because the next meeting with Linda after that, we did Winterfall. And at that time, we didn't have any band as such, but I just felt that I can't waste this opportunity to try to do something more interesting, more fun about this. So Linda and I decided to create Follow The Cipher from that point.
So it was really her vocal performance during that audition that really blew you enough away that you just felt that, okay, we got to do something.
Absolutely, and also we became really good friends from the first second. We had a really good chemistry, and we felt she became like a best friend or of some sort really, really fast. And that was also gave it. I was more confident to take it to that level, that where Linda and I would start a band. So that was a big part of it as well, I think.
I'll tell you this, after listening to 2 of the songs on the album, the more I listened, like I listened to Carolus Rex, then I listened to Valkyria, the more I listen to it, the more impressed I am with her vocals. Like, it's really phenomenal.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. She's fantastic.
Yeah, like, it's just unbelievable. I'm completely blown away. So once you found her, was then the songwriting process written around her vocals, or did you already have majority of the work done before her even coming into the picture?
No, the thing is, we are 2 songwriters in the band. It's the other guitar player, Victor, and I, and we have roughly written half of the album each, but we have had kind of 2 different approaches when writing the music for the album, because when I have written my music, I have always met up with Linda, so she has been in the studio with me during the writing process. And that is a very important part of the writing of my songs, because I need her as a tool by the microphone to see how it sounds and try stuff out before everything, because I wanted to take her capacity to her limits in some way, and to do that I need to have her by the microphone. Victor would like to have Linda by his side, but he has different kind of problems with getting the time right to manage to meet up with her. We don't live in the same place in Sweden. So he has written all his melodies at his place and sent the melodies to Linda, and she has recorded it after that. So two kinds of approaches for the songwriting.
And you feel like either approach for you guys right now, obviously, you just said you guys don't live close by together. You feel like both approaches really have its merits and both are working for you guys in terms of putting this whole album together?
Yeah, we are struggling because things would have gone much faster if we would have lived at the same place. But it works really well. Everyone is super professional in the band. We don't when we go to our rehearsals and stuff like that, everyone knows their songs super well. So no, I don't think it's a problem. I think it's and it's also fun to go traveling Sweden sometimes a little bit.
You mentioned that you guys performed at Sabaton Open Air. I believe that was last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So performing live before you guys even, I'm assuming you hadn't recorded the album at that point, right?
We weren't done with the album at that point, but we had, yeah.
You were going through the record. You were going through the recording process at that point.
Yeah, we were, and after that, came the suggestion to bring Carolus Rex in, and after that, also the last song, "Play with Fire," was written by Victor at that point. So no, we weren't done with the album at that point.
So how important for you was to hear those songs live, for yourself performing them live, to really give you the self-confidence that they were going to work as well in the studio and that the album was going to be successful when it actually got released to the audience? Because that interaction with the audience there, you have understanding that the audience saw you guys play live. They had never heard those songs before.
No, that was the first performance of our album. We had at that point released Winterfall and The Rising before that. But we did get a really great response. It was super fantastic, and it was like a nervous gig for us because we have all our friends in Falun, Sweden, all the other bands over there. We are like close friends, and we go to the pub together and everything like that. But this was the first time for that all our friends also, as well as the many people from the world that came to the festival, was going to watch us. So it was a nervous experience, but damn, it was so damn cool to stand there and do that show. It was a really personal gig for us, I think. But yeah, in comparison to deliver our songs live and that, it's up to the audience to decide if we are successful doing that. But I think we are in some way.
I think I don't think, honestly, I don't think you guys are going to have any issues with the album or booking any live shows, because the perception that I have from watching the videos is you guys have a lot of energy. You guys look like a well-oiled machine, and there's a sense of togetherness and a vibe between all of you that just really, from a viewer's perspective, you just feed off of that. So you guys seem like a live band with tons of energy.
Yeah, I hope so. We have a lot of plans to expand the live show a lot. We're not that band that goes in on with our usual T-shirts and doing rock and roll. We're trying to do a little bit of great experience about it. We're trying to put have more people on stage doing stuff that enhances the experience doing it with the live show and everything. And that is an ongoing process. It's actually the bass player Jonas in the band that has the most input on the live act, and he does a great job, I think, and we will take it a lot further, I think.
Is there a reason behind the way, for example, in the videos, the way you guys are dressed? Does that fall into that whole idea of the whole apocalyptic theme? In the way that you guys almost look like you just came out of a Mad Max movie.
That's a good comparison, because that's a little that was our plan a little bit, to take the influences from a Mad Max and also the Terminator movie and stuff like that. Also, once again, connected to the movie scene and everything like that, to bring that as a show a little bit, and so that was the plan. Yes.
I want to go back to the Sabaton because the connections with Sabaton do not finish and start with Carolus Rex. Chris worked on your cover artwork for your album. How did that come about? How did, like, I didn't see him as an artist, so like I'm wondering is how did you guys come about with that idea of having him design your album art cover?
And that was also the bass player Jonas that contacted Chris for that. And Chris is a close friend to us all in the band. So so that wasn't quite a hard decision to take. And Chris is super fantastic at all the things he does. He can take a guitar and plays the shit out of the guitar, and also with the graphics. He's a really creative person, a really professional person. And since we are good friends and everything like that, and he's so good at what he does with the graphics as well, it wasn't a hard decision to contact Chris and see if he wanted to do the cover art, and we did, and it went so damn good because I had an idea about the cover art. I sat in Photoshop myself, and I really suck at Photoshop, but I did my best and sent an idea to Chris, and he got the idea right away, and he made it like 1,000 times better than the idea I had. And we sat actually in Skype for many hours during many days during the whole booklet. But we are so super happy with the results, and Chris is a fantastic artist, I think.
So let me ask you this: what do you suck the most at Photoshop or singing?
I would say singing. Nobody wants to hear me sing. Oh.
Did you work on your guys' logo as well, or that was done by somebody else? Because I think the logo is really badass.
I really like the logo, and that was actually a German guy I contacted. I believe that his company was called Comatose Design. And I asked him to create a logo for us, and he created it actually. And that was back. It was during the first. I think it was just straight away after Linda and I decided to create Follow the Cipher. So the logo has been a part of the band since the start.
You really managed to create, adding that logo to that cover work, to the lyrics of the album, to the music. Everything seems to have flown in perfectly. Like all the pieces kind of matched in together. Do you really look back now and sometimes wonder how well all of these pieces kind of felt together? Because I mean, you could have not planned anything better to fall into place so well. I mean, like it's like a perfect storm of events coming your way. Like, do you sit back now and think, "Wow, I'm really good"?
No, I don't. I sit back and when I think back about the process, it has been a real struggle to make this work in many senses. To find the right theme of everything, to find the right style for the music has been a really developing process. Also, two songwriters in the band coming together from different worlds when we write music, and everything has been, and also the signing with Nuclear Blast made us. We needed to get done fast. We needed to get a product done fast because there were still a lot of black holes everywhere. We needed to fill with something. And it has been a struggle, but I can say that I think that everyone in the band is really happy with the results we have right now, and we now have a solid base to work with for the next album as well.
I don't even want to get into the next album because like this one, I'm still waiting for this one to come out so I can digest it. But let me ask you this: any surprises that we can expect from this album in terms of songs or cameos or appearances? Like, are you guys planning anything, or the only surprise are the ones you guys already gave everybody with the cover of Carolus Rex?
I think a few surprises with the upcoming album is the diversity of the album, because we are stretching the limits of the genre a little bit. So there's no two songs the same. There are quite miles apart with how the songs sound. So one song can be like Winterfall, for example, is a kind of 80s inspired song, and The Rising is a more kind of progressive inspired song. And also we have one cool song where we have a bunch of guest singers. Also Joachim from Sabaton, for example, and we have a bunch of other guys singing. We have Johnny Lindqvist from Nocturnal Rites, and we have Nils Patrik Johansson from Astral Doors, and really great Swedish singers. So that could be a surprise, I think, a little bit on the album.
Was that hard to get all of those guys? Like, I always wondered that whenever you see a song that has a few different cameos from guys in other bands, is that a process that is recorded all individually, or you actually have to find the time to bring them all together into the studio to record each of their tracks?
And no, everyone has sang at their own places except Ronny Hemlin, that also is participating on Starlight, the song. He actually came to Falun, and we were in the studio together. I recorded him, and also Ole Ekman were there as well. But apart from that, everyone has sang their parts in their own places and sent over the material for us.
Thank God for the internet.
Yeah, thank God for that.
This stuff would not have been possible like 30 years ago, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I am really thankful about the opportunity to use the internet for this kind of things.
Let me ask you this. The album comes out, I want to keep saying this so that people don't forget about it, because it's important. The album comes out May 11th on Nuclear Blast. Once the album comes out, what are your plans for the rest of 2018 and even into 2019? Do you guys are planning some festivals, some touring? Like, what can you tell us?
Yeah, as of now, we have 2 booked shows. We have one at Grasspop Metal Meeting in Belgium, and we also have Metal Fest Open Air in Czech Republic. And we are right now actually looking at the possibilities for a tour in this fall. And nothing is set in stone yet, but we are going to do some touring. But what kind of tour it will be, we will see a little bit. But that's the focus from here. And also, at that point, we are already now starting to write the next album.
Wow.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, we are hyped about this, and we want to continue. And if you can be in good time to do it, why not?
Yeah, I mean, if the juices are flowing and you have the ideas, you might as well start putting some stuff down. I think that's impressive. Like, wow, like you have an album coming out and you already have material that you're thinking already for another album. That's impressive.
Yeah, but that's the fun part about music. It's creating music.
The touring aspect, are you guys concerned in terms of, you're not worried about in terms of how you slide into a tour? So for example, you would be open to idea of being one of the opening bands under a bigger band, or you're looking more in terms of booking some perhaps smaller tours, but where you're the headliner, or at this point you just want to get on the road and it doesn't really matter?
We're not looking at ourselves as a headliner band yet. So the hopes is to be a support act for a band that fits our music a little bit, so we can have the same audience enjoying our music. So that's our main focus. But as a headline act, no, not yet. I don't think.
Would you guys be looking at just touring within Europe, or you're even thinking perhaps maybe as we roll around into 2019? Coming over to North America? I'm saying this from my own personal selfish ways, because obviously I would like to see you guys live, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, that would be really cool, and if we get the opportunity, we will do it. But I think in the first stage we will probably visit Europe, but absolutely North America and Japan as well would be really cool.
Yeah, Japan is specifically, it's a big market. I mean, North America as well. I found that the North American market is a little bit stranger when it comes to metal, not as big as Europe and Japan, but still there is a market here, and obviously a market for like a band like you guys to come here with perhaps Sabaton in the future. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I honestly, I think I would lose my marbles. I mean, like, I really enjoy their live performances, and I would really like to see you guys live as well.
Cool. I'm holding my thumbs to make it to the US with the band and kick some ass.
Before I let you go, I just want to give you an opportunity to remind people, where can they pick up the album. The album comes out May 11th, Nuclear Blast. Where's the best way for people to pick up the album?
Go to nuclearblast.com and look for Follow the Cipher, and just, yeah, it's super easy.
I'm also going to be putting a link on the description on the YouTube video so that folks can find ways to pick up the album. And please support the guys, pick up the album. Nobody's going to regret it.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for your time, Ken. We'll talk another day.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, bye-bye.